Hi, this is Miss Richardson. I'm so sorry about the Muppet Show in the background. But hopefully humor me. I'm louder. I am going to go ahead and give you some information on the informational text lesson that we did the other day. I think a lot of people that weren't in the lesson haven't checked out the video that we did, and I think this is going to be a little bit more enlightening on how to go through it step by step. So bear with me and I will show you how to do all of it. Okay. All right. First of all, I want you to look at the basic text structure for informational text. So you want to look at subject, what the text is mostly about. This is usually one word. So subject right here. Main idea is usually the first sentence in the paragraph. It can be at the end, but mostly it's at the beginning. So for example, we're going to read an article about frogs. The subject would be frogs, right? The main idea is going to be frogs are poisonous. The supporting idea, it's going to break it down into 3 different types of frogs. And the details would be about those specific frogs. So you're getting into smaller and smaller and smaller ideas. And you're expanding on just frogs, right? By the end, you know that the corroboree frog, it lives in Australia. Okay, once you're done with that, go ahead. For me, I have to refresh because mine timed out, and load your Nearpod in a new window, right? If you're on your phone, and you should be able to do this on your phone if you have Nearpod downloaded onto it, go ahead and you've logged in as a SLC student. Okay, you should just be able to jump in. Okay. You can watch the video, although I don't think this is the best video for it. It does talk about summary and using like main ideas and subjects to go into it, but I think I'm going to add another video on here that talks more about like the structure. Okay, informational text is writing that gives you facts about a subject. So frogs being poisonous, that's the subject we're going to cover, and I think there's insects that we're going to cover as well. But it's going to cover a topic, right? That's why I was so bent and determined to have you guys look at nonfiction that had like a subject and a main idea. I want you guys to see this as you read, right? By the end of this quarter, I want you to be able to understand and see nonfiction text. I want you to be able to use that information so that you can skim and work faster through it, right? I want you to see a benefit in your education that helps you see how to improve what you're reading. Okay. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is the main idea. It's usually a sentence. It includes the subject plus what you're going to cover about the subject. In an argument, that's usually the thesis statement. In an expository essay, it's usually going to be like what you're going to cover in that text, right? Supporting ideas and details provide the reader with information that develops the main idea. So in the case of the frogs, it actually separates it out into 3 different kinds of frogs. And then identifying the main idea and supporting information builds a foundation for summarizing informational text. So this is just using your ability to spot the main idea and the supporting information to be able to actually condense what you're writing because you need to write less. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, here is the outline again. So subject, 1 word. Main idea, 1 sentence telling me about the subject, frogs, and what the text says about the subject are poisonous, right? Supporting idea, we're looking at the red-backed frog here. We're looking at the corroboree frog here. We're looking at the other frog right here. And I can't remember the other one. I think it's a green tree frog. But, and then telling me details about it. They're poisonous. The red tree frog is smaller than a thumbnail and still super poisonous. The corroboree frog right here is from Australia, that kind of thing, okay? So let's go ahead and get started on, why is this useful? Because if you know where to find the main idea, you can immediately start summarizing. Here's the sentence I need to start with, right? This is what everybody needs to find out about. All right, so let's go ahead and read about the not so friendly frogs. Frogs might be cute. Okay, so not so friendly frogs. This is our topic. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the red. Guys, if anybody like can't see red, let me know. It does stand out, but for those people who are colorblind, you cannot see it. Okay, so not so friendly frogs. That is going to be this is our subject, okay? Subject. It's 1 to 2 words, right? Yeah, subject. Oh, terrible mouse writing. Okay, frogs might be cute, but many frogs are poisonous. Um, Guys, what are we going to be talking about? Frogs are poisonous. That is our main idea. Okay, the golden poison dart frog is deadly. That's our first supporting idea. The corroboree frog produces its own poison. That's our second. And the red-backed poison frog is the third. Okay, even though and then it goes into detail on each one. Right now, we're just going to look at the subject. Okay, I know this is the subject. So you notice how they already put the frogs in top of our pyramid, right? I know this is the subject of the summary because the word frog does or does not appear in the title. It totally does appear in the title, right? So we want to make sure that's underlined or circled, but it needs to be clearly circled on that. Okay, the word frog appears 8 or 6 times in the text. If you count 1, 2, 3, okay, go ahead and answer that, but circle whichever one it is, whether it's 8 or 6, or underline it. Either one is fine, but do make sure you mark it in some way. Okay, it is usually 1 to 2 words or a sentence. Believe it or not, a subject is going to be short, so you want to keep it short. Okay, and notice at the very beginning, is that 1 to 2 words or is it a sentence? 1 to 2 words or a sentence. Okay, let's move on to the next one. All right, so we're going to look at the main idea. So if we look at frogs, right, by just popping out this, frogs might be cute, but many frogs are poisonous. So we've read this. We know it's about the golden dart frog, the corroboree frog, and the red-backed poison frog. So we know that they're poisonous, right? So that is it found at the end or is it found at the beginning? We're talking about frogs being poisonous. So that's how you answer this one. Is it stated near the beginning or end of the text? Number 5, is it the point the author is making about the subject or the details? Think about it. Is the main idea clarifying the subject, right? Frogs, is it telling us a little bit more about frogs? Okay, underline which one you think is most appropriate, okay? It is stated as 1 to 2 words or a sentence. Well, did they state that as 1 to 2 words or is it more like a sentence? Okay, go ahead and circle that. All right, let's look at this one. I know these are the supporting ideas of the summary and it's got those listed, the golden poison dart frog, the corroboree frog, and the red-backed frog. Each one includes a fact that explains what? The subject or the main idea. Now, everything describes the subject, right? But is it more directly supporting poisonous frogs and not just frogs, right? Because you could talk about frogs, right? But frogs jump so high, right? They're jumpers. Jumpers would be a completely new main idea. Okay, so if we're going to talk about jumpers, that actually goes right here on this level. We don't want to talk about that, okay? We're actually focusing on just the poisonous frogs and these ideas that support the poisonous frog. So it does support the subject, but does it more directly support the main idea? All right. This one, again, we are looking for details, right? One's an endangered species, the world's most deadly frog. The corroboree frog produces its own poison. It's found in Australia. The red-backed poison frog is harmful to the touch. It's smaller than your thumbnail. It injures humans. Okay, each one describes, yeah, it does describe frogs, right, as a subject, but is it more specifically describing the supporting idea? And then you want to circle and underline that. Okay, to do this one, probably the best thing you can do is refer back to your graphic on the Canvas tab, right, that you have open. I'm thinking it's this one on mine. It is, okay? So you can look on here. That insects is the subject, right? So the subject would go right here. Details, details actually are down here, right? That actually does not, hold on, let's do this again. So let's go ahead and move our text over here and we'll just answer with our text, right? All right. So, okay, our subject is going to be the top, right? Then we're going to come down here. What's the next thing? Many insects blend in with nature to protect themselves. Okay, I'm thinking that that's the subject, but I'm not sure. So, or not the subject, the main idea. Oh, look, it is the main idea. Okay, so we can type in the main idea. Okay, and then I want you to use that graphic to fill out the rest. Okay, all right. And then let's look at this one. I want you to circle the subject each time it appears in the title or the summary. So you just saw the graphic organizer for this. So you can go back to that previous page, okay? And look, this is about insects, right? It's actually what this whole thing is about. I'm gonna make this tiny, make it blue or make it red. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and circle every time we see insects because that's our subject, okay? All right, put a star next to the main idea. Okay, what is the main idea of this? Is it about insects blending? Okay, if it is, then you need to put a star next to that. Then you want to underline each supporting idea. Well, stick insects is one of those ideas. Okay, let's see. Then katydids. Okay, and then there's one more. And then you draw a dotted line under each detail. They live on almost every continent. Okay, I want this to be fully complete by the time you're done. Okay, if you can do all of that, you're going to have this done. You'll have it figured out. So go ahead and finish this up and let me know if you have any other questions, okay? All right, thank you.